Hey guys, it's Mrs. Scales, and last year when we evaluated and asked student leaders for feedback of some things that they wanted to see this year, getting a monthly video from us here at the headquarters, or Flood HQ as we call it, was one of the things that they asked for. So this is the first of some monthly updates that you're going to get from us, just to give you some information, some words of encouragement, and just some things to look forward to ahead. So I have my list I want to kind of go through. This is going to kind of be broken down into three different parts. The first thing I want to talk about are some things coming up that I want you to know about. Most of your parents, if you remember back at the retreat, your parents got, you invited your parents to come to our parent meetings. Our parent meetings are this Sunday, September 22nd. You can go onto the website and see all the different locations. We really want to share with your parents what Flood is about in the heart so they can get more involved and they just know how much we care about you and how we really want y'all to grow as leaders. So please remind them about those parent meetings and to check out the locations by clusters on the website. The other thing that we have is our night of prayers. Our next one is September 30th. And we really encourage you to come. They're here at the Flood office at 7 o'clock. Bring some people from your schools. It's not just for leadership, but it's a great way to come together. We do praise and worship, and we just pray over you guys to support you and just spend the time of just putting our hearts out there to God. The other thing is, if your parents like to play golf, right here, our golf tournament is October 21st. Again, that's on the website. And if you know of anybody who plays golf, let them know, because it is a way for us to fundraise and raise money for the ministry so that we can keep supporting the work you're doing. So if you would go take a peek at that or just spread the word to any golfers in your life, that would be great. I'm looking at my list. That's why you keep seeing me looking down. The next thing, and you may have heard about this from James, is the Student Action Event in Clarkston. It's in November, so it's a good bit away. But if you're interested in serving as a project leader, or just you'll get some cards to start putting out there for your leadership, for your school chapters. It's a day where it's nothing but students from lots of different organizations are going to come together and serve in Clarkston. You will have stuff on the website soon, but we just wanted to give you a heads up that you're going to start hearing more about that. A lot of you have asked about shirts and things like that. Bro tanks are done. We just wanted to try them out. We'll bring them back in the spring, but we just ordered a little bit to see if they would be popular, and they were. But you can look for some hoodies to be coming out, and then we'll have some matching t-shirts with the same design of the hoodies. So those will be coming out soon. We're picking up bandanas today. It's Monday. And if anybody wants to get some bandanas, check in with James and we'll get those for you as well. Don't forget to your groups to add to the group texting to get your chapters to do that. You should all have the codes, the key code to flood whatever key code you got. If you have any questions, as always, check with James. One of the other things that I want to ask y'all to do, I'm not sure who at the chapter is responsible for this, but at the retreat, each chapter wrote a scripture that God had given you on a brick. If you can send those to James, that would be great, because we want to get those scriptures and get them to the prayer team so that they can be praying for you over those scriptures over your chapter. So if you can, whoever has those, can you get those to James so that we can start just declaring those over your chapter? Your journals, these awesome journals, don't forget to use them. Most of you, everybody in your team should have one. And I don't know if you saw that, but I'm just kind of going back and forth. If you didn't see James, we have some extra ones, but use that tool. Don't forget to use it. The next thing I want to go to, I said there were going to be a couple of different areas, is I want to talk a little bit. If you came to the retreat, we talked a lot about the book of Nehemiah and how Nehemiah was kind of our cornerstone for the year. And I want to just remind you that you've accepted this call. This is your assignment that you have accepted this year. Don't forget to use your tools. Don't forget to use your weapons. And what I really want to talk about today is being committed to your call. Because remember at the retreat, and for those of you who weren't there, somebody on your team can update you. We talked about how Nehemiah was committed to not coming down the wall. And we all know that scripture. He says, I'm doing a good work and I will not come down. But I'm a little worried that some of y'all haven't even gotten up on that wall. that you signed up for your role, maybe half-heartedly, maybe not knowing 100% what flood is, because we have so many new students to flood this year on the leadership teams. So I'm going to kind of make you uncomfortable for just a second, but we've had some discussions about what makes a chapter truly, truly successful. And one of the things that is really important is how willing are you to serve? Are you showing up to your leadership meetings? Are you committed to the team and coming and being a part and providing feedback and your insight to the team? If you're not, you need to question whether or not you need to be on this team. The other thing that is greatly concerning me is the lack of student leaders. Many of you who are listening to this right now, you're not serving. And there are even some of you who have never, ever served with Flood. It's really difficult because a lot of people kind of sign on at the last minute, and I get that. And we do that, and we know that with a lot of grace in there to give you an opportunity to get out and serve. But we have communicated, James has communicated to the presidents about the importance of serving. And so I'm going to kind of be the heavy hand here and say that unless you're actively serving with Flood at a Flood project and you're a leader, you're not going to have buy-in. You're going to get up there and stand up in a classroom or come to a leader meeting, and you're not going to have a clue what that really means because you haven't come out to serve. So I'm kind of going to give you a window and kind of give you I don't want to say an ultimatum, but if you don't come out and serve pretty quickly as a student leader, you're going to be asked to step down from leadership, because there's no reason and no way that you can be on this team and a part of Flood if you're not coming out and serving. So I need you to get real with yourself, get real with your chapter, get real with your team. And are you really up on that wall, or are you still down at the bottom? Because at this point in the game, we need you on the wall, because the wall you're rebuilding are your schools. And if you're not on that wall and using your tools and your weapons and living out your assignment that God has called you to, then you're not going to be effective. Remember that this is not a club. This is God's ministry. And so we ask you to treat it that way and to treat that commitment that way. So I ask each and every student leader to really get real with yourself. Are you really committed to leading on this team, to helping them grow this ministry at your school? And are you committed to serving? And if you're not, it's time for you to step down and just come out and serve when you can. But we need people to be on that wall right now for this mission, this work, this year. So I know that sounds hard, but that's just the reality of what makes your chapter successful, is that you've been out there serving. So just be praying about that. Ask God to show you. Ask God to do a work in your heart, because we love you and we support you. But at this stage of the game, we need you serving. So that's a lot of information. You'll hear from somebody next month, whether it's me or James. You'll hear a little bit more. So, but do we just want to encourage you today, tell you we love you, we're here, and we just want you to do the best for God's work so that you can grow in this role. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you next month.